Good evening and happy Wednesday to all of my participants, those who come and sup with me for the next 60 minutes, which is actually the length of a session. It's your girl, Martisha Sherman, the unapologetic therapist, out here, unapologetically therapizing individuals. And the word therapizing, I have to hand that to my girl Yielded. She did that. She was like, I don't need you therapizing me. And I took that and ran with it. I appreciate it. No, there is no residuals going on. So, with that being said, hello again. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you to all the participants. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe, share with those who you know that are out there trying to get a better understanding about what's going on with mental health and mental health awareness in the community. Um, Today I come before you talking about stigma and stereotype. There's a sense of urgency going on now with this, with mental health, because every day, especially with what's going on in the world and in the economy and what's going on, a lot of people don't know how to navigate through what's going on in the community, finding resources, meeting their breaking points, losing their homes, their jobs, their cars, not having no one to talk to, no one who can empathize and give them better, proper guidance and assurance that it's going to be okay. You've gotten this far. It's going to be okay. Just find the right therapist, find the right clinician, find the right psychiatrist, find the right social worker to talk to, because just like you got that job or just like you got that house, you can get another one. There's so many people, just like I was saying the other day, um, before the pandemic happened, there was another situation that happened and people end up starting companies, and then the pandemic happened and people started writing companies, creating companies and jobs again. Find what's in you and let us help you get there, because if you've been a secretary for 35 years, you know how to do paperwork and process, and there, of course, there are a lot of online jobs, and a lot of people are like, I don't want to work from home, I don't want to work online, but get there where you can, you know. um but we are in a critical situation going on right now with the way the government is running, shutting down things. um I keep saying this over and over again. This is an eye opening situation. Just like everything else, if we don't open our eyes to see what's really going on, then we're going to miss it again. So don't be one of the ones that miss out and miss the realness of what's going on, and be able to talk about it and how it makes you feel. I do checks every day with people that I talk to, which let's do a mental health check. Let's see what's going on. So I am deeply into this thing of creating a better community for us to be able to talk about things and to be able to be equipped with the knowledge. Because, of course, we know, for those who are Bible believers, for those who believe in God, a lot of things that are going on is in His Word. He even said, those things, you got to come before him and ask him for wisdom and discernment on how to handle a situation, how to address a situation that you may encounter right now with losing your job, or, having a mental breakdown. I say it over and over. It's okay to be sad. It's what you do with it. It's how you respond to those transactions that may come, those thoughts, capturing those thoughts that's telling you you're not good enough. This is going to get worse. I know I'm jumping in and I'm jumping ahead, but I want to make sure that we as a community, as a culture, as individuals know and have the right conversation. So the reason why this podcast was created, and I have to give you the reason why it was created. This was created for conversation. It's all about us having conversations that nobody otherwise want to have about mental health. Nobody wants to have conversation about if you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're suicidal, if you're homicidal, if you're hearing things, if you're seeing things until it happens. Why not get the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding before those things so you can see those triggers, like we call it in the mental health world, or you can see those signs of saying, hey, I need to sit down, I need to relax, I need to soften my mind. I need to just sit down and just get quiet. I myself, as a therapist, and yeah, I am a big country, but it's okay. I myself, as a therapist, I too have to do the same things just like any other person. I have a therapist. Whenever I want to feel like I want to shut down, I'm calling. I'm like, hey, something's not, I don't feel right. Or if I'm having a crying situation, it's like, what am I crying for? But I don't shut those things off. What I do is I go to the source of where it happened so I can understand and I can capture those thoughts. So the mental health disparities among minorities are at a processing concern. We can't ignore this anymore. We can't. We are not going to ignore mental health in the Black and Brown community. Why do we have to wait until something happens for us to say, hey, I need to talk to somebody? Besides talking to family, friends, or whatever, what if you don't want to tell them, those things that are pressing, that are bothering you the most? If you don't have insurance, there are community services out here that you can reach out to be able to talk to a therapist. If you do have insurance, your insurance covers it. Reach out to someone and have a conversation that we need to have. A lot of times we don't want to talk about stuff. Just the same as I said before, we get into that mindset of what happens stays in what it happened. No, it needs to come out of what happened. So that what stays in the house, what happens in the house stays in the house. That what happens in behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. That's a cliche for Vegas. Now, if you want to go to Vegas and say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, that's you. But what happens in the house needs to come out for healing. What happens behind closed doors needs to be addressed for healing. Okay. So I'm out here. And again, the reason why this podcast was created for us to have open engagement, for us to talk about things that no one else wants to talk about, to have those conversations that otherwise you shut down and you keep within yourself. And do you not understand when you're holding on to things that really are bothering you mentally, it doesn't just go to the mind, it goes to the source of your body. It starts attacking, things in your body. And that's not good because we were not created to hold those things in like that. We were not created for that. We were not created to hold in stress. We were not created to hold in depression. We were not created to hold in sadness. Our bodies were not created for that. And that's why we were created with a voice to be able to speak. We're the only creation that was created that we have verbiage. We can have talk. We have feelings. We have emotions. We can communicate with words to other people and not just in a negative way. Why does your mouth have to open only to say something negative? Why you can't say anything positive? Change your mindset. All it takes is one thought to change the dynamics of what you're growing through at the time. So when we talk about stigma, we talk about stereotypes, and I gave you the definition of stigma last weekend when we talked about stigma and what it was, and stereotypes, people putting you in a category of something that you're not, stigma, people characterizing you or your character, stereotype. Oh, look at that Black woman, she's always angry. Look at that Black man, he's always aggressive. Look at that young Black kid, he don't they don't say he's talented. They always say, oh, he's overexpressive, he needs to calm down, he needs medication. No, the things that are addressed towards the Black and brown culture, until we make the change, it's not going to change. I said this the other day. We have to be the change. We have to be the ones to get out there and change the perspective. I don't want to hear, I don't care what people think about me. I don't want to hear that, because at the end of the day, the way those people address who you are and whose you are also causes challenges about things that you want to do in the outcome. Okay, so if someone's saying, oh, I don't want to deal with her, she's hard to work with, and this, that, and other, well, you need to change the dynamic, because change your mind, change your mindset. Hey, Jay Kelly, yes, thank you. Change does start with us. It does. Change start with us, but we got to be the willing vessel to address the change. We got to be upfront and honest with ourselves to know that we need to change. Ain't nobody, we don't have time for somebody else changing us. It's all us. We have to be the component of everything that needs to happen within ourselves. That is, if you know that you need to do better by changing your mindset. When I talk about stigma and the reason why things in the Black and brown culture is so stigmatized, when we talk about stigma and people putting us in a situation, or someone sees us in a negative way, we need to change that. Changing how a person sees us, it does start with us. It has to continue with us. We should be continuously growing. We should be continuously evolving, and not just evolve because somebody else tell you to evolve. You should want to evolve because you need to evolve. You should want to change who you are, and somebody putting you in a particular category, that takes you straight to the stereotype. You're widely held in unfair belief, and you're being put in a group of people. Last I heard, it was our ancestors that was enslaved. Slavery now is a whole different concept. Slavery now is us not wanting to change our mindset. That's slavery. Let's be real about it. When you don't want to change your mindset, you don't want to know better, to do better, to respond better, that's slavery. There was also a thing that I don't too much care for cliches, but I'm going to say this one cliche. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, is called insanity. I heard that. And I was like, so you mean to tell me if I keep walking in circles over and over again and don't change the way, or letting myself know that I can get out of this circle, it's insanity. If I keep going back and hitting my head on that wall over and over again, I gotta change that behavior. Because you want to know why? If I don't, then they're going to put me in a stereotype with everybody else saying, hey, you keep hitting your head on the wall, so you're insane just like the rest of them. Hey, Bridget, thank you for joining. Jay Kelly, thank you for joining. Yeah, mental slavery is real. And that's all about the mindset. It is insane. Mental slavery is real. When you don't want to change your mind and change your thought process, that is mental slavery. It really is real. And a lot of people don't get it. That's why, for me, I love what I do. And that's why I started this podcast. I started this podcast because I want, again, for us to have those conversations. If you want to know my story, I'll tell you my story. I have no shame in my story. because I didn't have nobody to talk to during the process and the times that I was growing through what I was going through. That's talking about being a single mom, uh, trying to commit suicide, going through a divorce, raising children, raising sons, raising daughters, being an empty nester, kids going off to college, all of these things. To say I had somebody to talk to all the time, I probably did. But did I know how to talk to that person? Probably not. Why? Because I probably thought I was going to be judged. And that's the main thing. That's why people really shun and they really gravitate away from talking about mental health, because you think you're going to be judged. You're not going to be judged. As a matter of fact, let me be honest with you. If you really think you're going to be judged, keep talking to the people that you talk to that are not licensed. Those are the ones that are judging you in the back of their head by like, really? Yeah. See, what we talk about is behind it's being taken care of. It's confidential. You ain't got to worry about you telling me something and then I tell somebody else that, and it's just become this, what they call it, the telephone game, that is just all over the place. So then when that happens, then you're wondering why you're going through those things. Because somebody then set up there and told your story, thinking they're telling your story better than you can. Okay? So, stereotype, oversimplified ideas and belief about a group of people. Let's go there. What group of people are you in? The black and brown. What are they doing? Stereotyping, oversimplifying ideas and belief about your group. Yeah. Does it matter? It does. Why? Because we won't talk about it. We won't have those conversations until when something happens. Then we want to address it. Then when we address it, we turn around and then it becomes a fad. It starts off high and then later on it's kind of low. Nobody wants to talk about it anymore. I said last weekend, people are killing themselves every day with what's going on in this economy and what's going on in this government. Have you been checking on your friends? Have you been checking on your people? Those that you call good friends, those you call best friends, those you call family members. Have you been checking on them? Have you been reaching out to see if they're okay? Matters if you don't ever talk to them. Check on them. See how they're doing. See what's going on, if they're okay. I have, in this past few days, have heard so many people losing their jobs, so many people concerned about losing their homes, so many people concerned about their children, so many people concerned about their education, what's going on. That's what's going on. That's what's going on in society today. So let's get into some conversation. Let's have some questions. Let's have some engagement. Like I said, I'm here. You get an hour session. Let's have some talks. Let's have some good conversations. Ask me questions that you may have. I had someone ask me, I think it was like some weeks ago, about burnout. You know, when you're burnt out from doing the same things, or burnt out from work, or burnt out for being, doing daily chores, it's okay to sit back and recover. It's okay to sit back and regroup. It's okay to sit down and say, hey, I'm going to do that tomorrow, or I'm going to do that later on. It's always good to listen to your body. First, your mind is telling your body, hey, I need to sit down. I need to gather my thoughts. I need to rest. I need to sleep. I need to do these things. And just because you're resting and sleeping doesn't mean that you're depressed. Doesn't mean that you're sad. Sometimes your body is saying, hey, it's talking to your mind and saying, look, listen, Linda, listen. I need you to power down. Put that phone down. Stop overstimulating my brain. Stop overstimulating me. I need you to stop and rest and relax. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to go smell the flowers. It's okay to walk outside and get some fresh air. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to go sit on your back porch if you got one, patio, front yard, whatever. Capturing those thoughts, regaining life. But it all starts with your mental health. How is your mental health? How are things going? How are things processing? What is going on for you that you need to talk about? Don't be a don't put yourself in the line of stigma or a stereotype. Okay? You are unique. You are a great human being. I got asked the other day, how can I change the negative thoughts that keep coming in my head? By changing them into positive. But first, you have to realize that it's not going to change overnight. If you've been talking and saying negative stuff for years, it's not going to change overnight. It changed day by day. The behavior has to change. And that's what mental health is. It's behavior. We do not, let me address this again. We do not fix the person. Mental health is not the person, it's an illness. Just the same as high blood pressure, just the same as sugar diabetes, just the same as heart. The doctors are treating the illness. They're not treating the person. The illness is just within the person, but they're not treating the person. They're treating the illness. Okay? That's what mental health is. So when we talk about stigma, stigma is not just being labeled. It can be a barrier to seeking help. Okay? Stigma is not just a label. It's not. It's not just a label. It's someone asking for help. And that's why the unapologetic therapist is out here eradicating, no big word, eradicating and destigmatizing what the Black and brown culture has been put into stereotypical categories. Okay. Also, we're out here helping break generational barriers, generational patterns, generational behavior patterns. Just because your mom did don't mean you got to do it. Just because your dad did that don't mean you have to do that. Just because grandma did it don't mean you have to do that. Just because grandpa did it doesn't mean you have to have that same behavior. Somebody got to break it. Somebody got to break that generational pattern. Somebody has to. Will it be you? Are you willing to break that generational pattern? Or are you going to add it on to your children, for your children to add it on to their children? I decided myself, I decided to break generational patterns. And one of the generational patterns, and I'm going to be transparent. One of the generational patterns I broke was I refused to be in an abusive marriage. So I left. I divorced him. He didn't divorce me. He fought. He was like, no, you're not leaving. I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. That was a pattern that I broke. There's other patterns within my family that I broke. One, I told my children growing up, give me the high school diploma. The rest of that, take care of it. You want to go to college? I'm there for you. You want to go beyond and get your master's and your PhD? I'm for it. But I want you to graduate high school. Going to college is a great thing. A lot of people like, I don't want to go to college. College is not for everybody. It may not be. I think it is, but it may not be for you at that time. Okay? So If you have questions about stigma, if you have questions about understanding stereotype, if you have questions about what it is, the barriers that you are not quite sure that you're trying to understand about mental health, reach out. I'm on all social media platforms. You can ask me questions. I'm open. I get told a lot of times that my knowledge is tangible. It really is. My knowledge is very tangible. I have been in this industry for over, well, going on 11 plus years. And I've seen a lot. I've witnessed a lot. I've had to encounter a lot. But in that learning that, I learned that so I can be a voice to break the barriers, to break the stigma. Why do we have to be the silent ones? Why do we have to be the ones that don't want to help? Why do we have to be the ones that when somebody reaches out and say, hey, this is going on to help in the community, we don't want to support? Why? What's the problem? Is there an issue? Is there a concern? No, what it is we don't want to be judged. If you know somebody is hosting an event with something that you're dealing with, why not go and support and get the knowledge and the wisdom that you need so you can be able to address it a lot better? Grief is grief is my main thing. And the reason why I like grief is because grief doesn't just deal with the loss of a loved one. Grief deals with losing a job, which you're seeing people doing, losing a child, losing a home, relocating, all these things you have to adjust to. And it can cause you to feel some type of way. And because you don't understand what that way is, someone such as myself in my profession, as well as other therapists and social workers, can help you work through that and find out what the underlying cause for that is. Maybe you've lived in New York for years and you moved to Texas. And because you moved to Texas, the way New York and Texas moves differently, it makes you homesick. And it makes you feel like, I really need to be home and I really want to go back. But your new life is here in Texas because you chose to relocate. So let's address the relocation and help you to find coping skills and find things that help you best prepare and be able to be stable here in your new home. So, stigma, stereotypes. I titled it part 2 because I really want us as the Black and Brown community to address those things that we don't want to address. Stop allowing people to put you in a label. Stop allowing people to put you in a stereotype that leads to misconception of who you really are. Stop allowing that to happen. You have to be your own self-advocate when it comes to your mental health. You have to be your own self-advocate when it comes to things that you know for a fact that's not you. That's not how you, like Sierra say, that's not how you roll. that's not how you make things happen. You know, this past weekend, of course, I was on a panel talking about divine guidance. And this right here, this podcast is actually divine guidance for me because it allows me to be able to set the stage, to set the guidance for those who don't understand mental health. Starting next week, I'm going to break down mental health 101, where we'll talk about different diagnoses. What is really anxiety? What is adjustment disorder? So they're going to come into increments. And I want you to be able to share this with people because if you don't know and don't understand, stop saying these things out of your mouth that are not true. Okay? Stop vocalizing stuff that you or that's putting you in these predicaments where you're being stigma, you're putting yourself as a stigma and you're putting yourself in a category of a stereotype. Okay, we are still hosting our basketball tournament, out for the love of basketball and mental health, next Saturday and Sunday. We may make it Saturday only, depending on how many more teams we get. Because again, this is all about the community. It's all about awareness in the community. Letting you know that there are Black and brown therapists out here. If you did not see my video where I talked about breaking generational curses, generational barriers, letting you know that there are Black and brown therapists out here, they really are. The For the Love of Basketball tournament that's going on next Saturday and Sunday, that is the reason why we're doing it, because a lot of times we don't know what's out there until we start asking questions. But we want to be able to provide you that information where it's at your fingertips. True enough, there's community outreach programs out here. Do you even know the resources out here? Do you even know what's out here for you when it comes to mental health, besides what you see on TV, besides what you heard on the news, besides what there are small businesses out here that are doing it. I have a company that's out here that's doing it for autism, kids that are on autism spectrum. Okay, they're out here doing a great job of doing so and reaching out to families. They actually have 2 locations, and they're reaching out to families who have children with autism. And what I enjoy about what they're doing is they're making it so personal, and it's personable to where the families are also being educated. That's what we're doing. We're out here doing workshops. Of course, tonight is the night symposium will happen, where we're going to host workshops, do events and stuff like that, so we can well equip the community. Because again, like Jay Kelly said, mental health slavery is real. And it's so real that until we grasp hold of what is really going on and what society is having us to think mental health is and what it's not, we're going to always be behind the lines. We're going to always be behind. As a matter, I said this too, we're so far behind till it makes everybody else look smarter. But until we can change our own mindset, until we can change our own thoughts, until we as a culture, until we as a community, until we as individuals can see what's really going on and how to change that by changing our mindset, we are a very powerful culture. We can start a business in a day and it'd be phenomenal. But we got to get out of this slave mentality. Our mindsets are still stuck on slave mentality. And that's what keeps us in the stigma. That's what keeps us being stereotyped, because we are still having slave mentality. I had to come on here to address it because it was just so prevalent of how much we as a culture are not taking mental health seriously. We're not. We don't want to talk about it. It's almost like not wanting to talk about what goes on behind closed doors. We don't want to talk about mental health. We don't want to support it. We don't want to be the outreach. We don't want to help our family members, but we will call the police if they're having a manic attack. We will call 911 if they're not on their medication. We will reach out to the first mental health hospital to have them committed before we learn how to help them best on finding out what their triggers are. When an individual leaves that psychiatric hospital, they leave with documentations that says the things that helps them out the best. And until we as a culture, we as caregivers, we as individuals help our own culture see life differently and better, we're going to always be in that bracket of stigma and stereotype, because we don't want to address the elephant in the room. We don't want to eat the frog. We don't want to eat the elephant. We just want life to be normal. And it is. And it can be. It can be. It's normal for them. But is it really normal for us? I want to educate you. That's why this podcast is here. I want to educate you. I want you to be able to have conversation with me. I want you to be able to know that I am advocating for you. I get to see the stuff behind scenes. I get to witness the stuff that's transpiring. I get to see things that nobody else could see because of the job that I have and the work that I do and the people that I talk to. And when I say your family members, your loved ones, your friends, those who are dealing with mental health and mental health illnesses, they really want to live a normal life. They really want to be the best that they can be. They really want the help. But until we, as a culture, can see that and want to help them out, this roller coaster ride that we're on is not going to change. It's not. Because we're too afraid to talk about stuff. We're too afraid to address things. We're too afraid that people are going to judge us. They already did. When they put a stigma label on you, when they put a stereotype on you, they've already judged you. They've already put you in a category. Just imagine being at your job, male or female. You're at your job. And because you're sitting behind your desk with your headphones on, with the earpods or whatever that is, the new ear things they got going on, and somebody come along and you're singing, do you not know they've already went around the office talking about that you talking to yourself and that you need help? That's not the case. I really wish we would, as a culture, stop doing that. Stop saying because somebody's walking down the street and their mouth is moving that they're crazy. They're not. Mental health, I'm here to educate you. I am. I have to educate you. If I can just educate 2 or 3 people, I'm happy. For the simple fact, I want you to know and understand the truth behind mental health. They've already brainwashed our ancestors. They're going to keep brainwashing you. How much longer are you going to allow society to tell you who you are and what you are? How long are you going to allow the internet, social media, all these other internet entities define stigma, stereotype, crazy, lazy, depressed, sad, bipolar, schizophrenia, I can name them all. How much longer are you going to allow that to happen? How much longer are you going to let people address you in a manner that is not appropriate because of the color of your skin? We've already had our ancestors do the walk. Martin Luther King. You already had, who else? Al Sharpton. You've had Colin Powell. You've had all these great individuals that fought for our freedom, but you're not willing to fight for your mental health? Really? Those people fought for our freedom. The freedom writers, those who went on campaigns. The fact that Back in those times, blacks were being beaten for the color of their skin. Now you're getting beaten for your mental health. Are you really serious about that? They tell you you're not good enough to work a job, but when you can run that job in circles, you can do better than the CEO can, but you will allow somebody to stigmatize you and put you in a stereotype. Oh, they think they know better than me. No, I don't put myself in knowing better than you, but I know this job. And stop dummying down who you are. Don't do that. Don't do that. I see that in every aspect of the career that's going on. I have some amazing people in my life of all cultures, and we have conversations like that. I've even had some of them ask me questions about the black and brown culture that they didn't understand, but they were willing to understand and learn. In mental health, we have to take a culture diversity class. That way we can be diverse in culture. But have you ever thought about those cultures wanting to know more about us as a as the black and brown community? I said this the other week. I asked for culturally sensitive black male or culturally sensitive male therapists. They're out there. They are. Have they reached out to me yet? No. Why? Do you not want to change the people? I even had this thought in my head, and this is just me. They want to keep the thumb on the culture of saying that they don't want you to get better so they can continue to give the medication. They don't want you to get better because as long as they have you on these psychotropic medications, because I'm holistic, I don't know, unless you have to take meds, I don't prescribe them, and I don't have my DEA, so don't ask me, do I prescribe medications? I refuse to get it because the brain, once it encounters those psychotropic medications, you never know if it triggers you to take you into a deeper depression or deeper manic episode. And if you really look at the medications that they be talking about on TV, it tells you you may experience depression, you may experience suicide, you may know your facts, people. You can fight for everything else, but I dare you to fight for your mental health. I dare you to fight for your mental health. Get out of that stigma. Get out of that stereotype. Fight for your mental health. Fight for it. Because if you don't, they're going to continue to put you in these categories. They're going to continue to say that your children are mentally retarded. They have ADHD. They have autism spectrum. Watch what your kids are eating. Give them more vegetables and fruit. I love that about my grandchildren. And I'll say that. My grandkids will eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables before they eat junk. Now, on the other hand, me, I kind of dibble and dabble in the junk food. But my grandchildren, they're not eating Takis and they're not eating hot Cheetos and stuff like that. They are eating fruits. My 3-year-old granddaughter acts like she's about 6. She's amazing. My grandson, he's 8, and he can hold a conversation like he's 16. He just told me what car he wants for his graduation. What kid would tell you that they want a classic car? I make sure that I check on their mental. I make sure that they understand what a stigma is and what a stereotype is. I talk to their parents. I talk to people around. You want to know, I'm here to address and answer any questions that you have. Let's fight for our mental health like they did for slavery. Let's fight to know that we can think the thoughts that are proper for us. Stop letting people do that to you. Stop letting people tell you because you crying that something's wrong. I made this one statement, and I have to bring this up. A young lady texted me about her crying, and I was like, "So what are you trying to say about the tears? Is there a problem with you crying?" And she made this one statement. Hold on, I gotta pull this up. This is so interesting. Um, we talked about tears, and she's like, I can't stop crying. Um, and I don't understand why. She said, I can't stop crying. I've been crying since I got off the phone with you. Um, I'm just so much emotion. I feel so much pain. Well, my response to her was, it's okay to cry. Do you know sometimes even for dams that are built, they have to sometimes open the gauge to let some of the water out. It's okay to cry. Most of the times it's needed. And then I went on to address, I cry. When I cry is needed, so I'm empowered. Once you are done, recharge and let life be. Stop trying to control everything. This is what I told her. It's okay. Men and women, it's okay to cry. That's what your tear ducts are for. It's okay. If you gotta go and sit in the bathroom, they even say men go in the bathroom and cry. Women go in the bathroom and cry too. But even if you have to go into a space, a safe space, and cry, it's okay. Your body was designed to do so. But they are telling you if you cry, you're not a man. If you cry, you're mental. You're crazy. If you cry, well, I'll be crazy. I'll be mental. I'm gonna cry because that's what I have tear ducts for. That's it's a cleansing. When you're crying, it's okay because you're telling your body, I have an emotion, I can feel it, I'm okay. And it's what you do after that. Stop letting society tell you you shouldn't cry, you shouldn't have feelings, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't. Let society be society. You be you and fight for your mental health. If your sons grow up and if they're in the house and something bothers them, let them cry. Daughters too. We're emotional beings. If you really want to go there, and if for those who are biblical listeners, the Bible said Jesus wept, and he's a man. So you're gonna say he crazy? The disciples cried. They were men. So I guess they were crazy. Come on now. Get out of this. Break this barrier. Come join me. Join me in breaking this stigma. Join me in breaking this stereotype. The unapologetic therapist, I'm out here in this community educating us. I care so much about us that at times I do cry because it hurts my heart to see people, our community, our culture don't want to fight for our mental health. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to do anything about it until cousin Mamie or Uncle Joe or grandma Amelia or somebody overdose because they feel like they can't take it anymore, become extreme alcoholics because that's the way they deal with pain, start doing illicit drugs because it coats the feeling at the time, when all they want is someone to talk to and to fight for them in their mental health. Join me in this fight. Sign a team up. It's open for the gym next Saturday. Bring a team. We're doing this thing. I am fighting. It's going to happen. I'm going to stop allowing our culture to say, no, we can't host stuff for awareness. I'm going to stop allowing our culture to say, I don't want to be a part of that because I'm too afraid to talk about it. I was so angry the other week. I was like, you know what? They don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to force them. I'm not going to sit there and talk about it with them. Until when it happens, then they're going to want to talk. And in most cases, when you want to talk and you want to come to a therapist, they're going to charge you out the wazoo. That's not me, because I want to see you healed. I want to see you be able to talk about those things. I want to see you recover and be the best you. And that's why I fight so hard. That's why this podcast happens. That's why I go and do events. That's why I'm speaking. That's why when people ask me to come and talk on a panel, I'm on that panel. When you see me, I am fighting and advocating for us, just like our ancestors did. But if you want to continue to stand in mental slavery, I've done my part. The table is laid before you. Are you going to eat? The chair is there for you to sit in. Are you going to sit down and eat at the table? Or are you too afraid to talk about it? There are plenty of people I can go and help, of other cultures, of other nationalities. But when you have somebody fighting so hard for you, but you will tell a man, I need you to fight for me. You'll tell a woman, I need you to fight for the fact that you love me and you care for me. I'm giving you unconditional love, unapologetically. I'm here unapologetic for you. But again, just like that baby, when the mom is doing the airplane for them peas and she don't want the peas or he don't want the peas and they close their mouth. It's true, closed mouth don't get fed. Closed ears don't get addressed. Closed eyes can't see what's going on. A closed heart won't beat forever, because a heart needs love to live. And I'm loving you unconditionally. So come join us. Come join me. I don't care if you come in there and say, hey, Miss Martisha, I just want to volunteer just to be a part. Do it. Because your volunteering may allow you to meet somebody who needs to hear your story. I said this on the last podcast. I have a 9 to 5 and I have a private practice. Although I'm still under supervision. What I do in the community goes back. The basketball tournament and the symposium connects together because the funds that are raised go towards the community. I can meet a family who may not be able to see a doctor or get a child assessed if they have autism. And they can reach out to Why He Can and say, hey, you know, it's going to cost me such and such. My insurance can't afford it. We want to be able to do that. Or I can't get a doctor's visit and my child really needs it. Or I need medication. Can you help me? Or I need clothing. I need shoes. Do you not understand a pair of shoes for a homeless person that is dealing with mental health, how much that helps them out? So much. A shirt, pants, underwear. Because when you look good, it makes you feel good, people. When a mental health person looks good, it makes them feel good. And they want to do better. They don't all want to take medication. And sometimes, and not sometimes, majority of the time they need it. but I'm an advocate for the people. And like I said, just because a person is homeless doesn't mean they have a mental health disorder. Some homeless people have struggled with depression because they want a better life. I get to go and see all these things. These are not things that I'm just conjuring up. These are people and individuals just like us that society has put a damper on, put their finger on, stomped on them, made them feel like life is not worth it. And again, if a person wants to commit suicide, they're not going to tell you nothing. You'll see it in their actions before they tell you anything. And what I mean by you'll see it in their actions, they'll write a letter and they'll hide it, or they'll do strange behaviors. And we have to answer that question. Did your client display any type of unusual behavior that you think or feel that they will harm themselves? I am mandated to do so. I tell my adolescents, if you're trying to do something, I am mandated to have to report that to your parents. That's just how much I love you. That's just how much unconditional love this industry has to show to individuals. So again, I'm going to show you the flyer if you haven't seen it already. This fundraiser next week, I am advocating. That's why it's there. This podcast was created to advocate for mental health and mental health awareness. I'm going to continue to do things in the community, whether people show up or not. Because out of those that don't show up, the ones that do show up are showing me that they really do care about their mental health and they're going to fight for it. Just because you go to a doctor doesn't mean that you have to be diagnosed with medication. I want you to be aware. I want you to have full understanding of what anxiety is, what adjustment disorder is, what is bipolar, what is schizophrenia, how does that affect you in the Black and brown community? How does that affect your melanin in your body? Because not every medication is for the melanin in your body. Know your facts. March 29th and 30th. It's going to go on. It's going to go on. Because somebody needs this. Somebody needs to know about this. Somebody needs to hear this. And then, of course, y'all know I've been on this panel, 50 plus in dating. I love my seasonal citizens. And I'm 53. I turned 54 this year. Means I'm 1 year from senior citizenship, but I don't call it senior citizenship. I will be a seasonal citizen. I'll be seasonal. This week is happening. But let me go a little deeper with this whole thing. Finding love, you gotta change your mindset. You gotta change your mental. How can you love somebody you don't love yourself enough to know your mental health is very important? That person don't need you to spaz out on them and go into an episode where you screaming and yelling at them. And then you, excuse me for saying this, no, unapologetically, you don't spaz out on somebody and you screaming at them and then you wonder why when you wake up in the morning, you got a knot upside your head. Quit playing. Quit playing. Get your mental health checked. Because everybody don't need that. Some of us can deal with it. But the ones that can't, don't do it. You want to find love? Check your mental health. Love you. I explained to a young lady the other day, what got me where I am now is I learned to date myself. I can go to a movie by myself and enjoy that movie with some popcorn and a drink. I can go to a restaurant by myself and enjoy a nice dinner. I can go to the park by myself and enjoy a picnic. I love picnics. I got a picnic blanket. I gotta open it up. I probably have to do it in my on my patio, in my backyard. I know how to really enjoy life. Hey, Apollonia, it's been a while. Thank you for joining. Um, I know how to enjoy life, and I know when my mental health needs to walk away before I get that spin number, that TDC, that TDC number. I know how to be quiet because the last person needs to endure all the stuff that I went through in life to become this catastrophic storm on their life. I dare not do that to anybody. They don't deserve it because they wasn't there doing that. So check your mental health. Fight for your mental health. Come talk to me about your mental health. We can do talks offline. You want to reach out to me? My direct number, if you want to talk to me directly, here's my number. Call me. Call your girl. Let's talk. Let's have communication. Let's have open dialogue. This is a judgment-free zone. I don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in. And if you saw my video that I did while I was in Dallas and I did this pitch, that's the main thing I said. I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. But I have a heart of a compassionate, unapologetic therapist that will get you where you need to get to. A couple of my coworkers sent me a text message today and was like, you are a no-nonsense therapist. I am. You want to know why? Because I didn't get that. I needed a no-nonsense therapist when I tried to commit suicide. Not once, but twice. In an attempt. I needed someone to snatch me and say no as a teenager and as an adult. Yeah. As a teenager, I needed someone to snatch me and love me and tell me that love is real. As an adult, I needed the same thing too. To tell me that just because I got divorced didn't mean life was ending and that my kids were going off to college and I needed to just be okay. But what I learned, and I say this, and I'm going to say it unapologetically, you can feel whichever way you want to feel about it. And I said this, when it comes to suicide, that's saying that you just really, you're at that place where you don't care about anybody else. I had to look at, if I would have committed suicide, if the attempts that I made were successful, the people that I was hurting my children. I was going to hurt my grandchildren. And I was going to hurt my children. The reason why I said I would hurt my children, and this is really tough for me, because they probably would have felt like they were the reason that I did that. People don't think about that when it comes to suicide. They don't think about the people that they're hurting. They just know that they want to end it. And ending it is not an end. It's only a beginning for hurting those around you. The people that loved you the time that you were here on this earth, but you decided because you wanted to end it. That was more important. But you're not thinking about all the lives that you've impacted. And especially if you're a mom or a dad or sister or brother, auntie or uncle, those people that were closest to you, the hurt that they would feel, and in some cases feel like that they were the problem when they were not the problem. So hear me when I say this, and I'm being very unapologetic, but I'm being very emotional right now. We really need to fight for our mental health and know the truth and know the facts. Know the truth and know the facts. Ask a therapist. Ask a licensed professional. Stop emotionally dumping. I said this also. We're some emotional dumpers on people, and they don't need that because you don't know what they're growing through. We become emotional bombers. We become emotional sponges, and we have to stop. They don't need to, they can't help you get out of that rabbit hole by you telling them, certain things because you don't know what it is that they're growing through. I'm human, but I'm also a therapist. I have my moments, but I'm thankful for my community. I'm thankful for those who are closest to me that knows my heart and that sees me and know how to come and hug me or send me some kind of love, because this job is not easy, especially when you're fighting for people who want society to tell them who they are and what they are and make them stigmas and stereotypes. So you got a softer side of the unapologetic therapist. I have feelings. I have emotions. I'm human. I am. But stop allowing society to tell you your mental health status and who you are and what you are. Thank you, Apple. I was just talking about that. It's okay to cry. Yeah, it is. It's okay to cry. And I have my moments. I call them moments. Because I always say to myself after crying, what are you doing next? What's next, Morticia? You didn't cry it out. You didn't cleanse yourself. What's next? What's next? You know my statement. When you know better, you do better and you respond better. I know where those emotions are coming from. I know how to do things differently so I can respond a whole lot better. So again, come join. It is tough always being, y'all are so on this. It is tough always being strong, but it's the strong ones that make life a lot better for those because we know how to, get out there and get out there and get it. Most people have those moments. Yes, Bridget, they do. And it's okay to say, I'm not okay. And it's okay to have a community to say that you're not okay in that community. Just saying I'm not okay is enough. You shouldn't have to go into detail. There's no need to go into detail because if your community knows you, they know you. But also love on your community and let them know just because I'm strong, I still have my moments. Okay. So you guys will see me next week, next Wednesday, the week before the tournament. Come out there, support, come out there, talk, come communicate, come conjugate with us. Of course, it's at the gym in Humble. There will be great things going on. Come be a part of it. Come take a picture with me. I may have on something super fly. No, I'm just playing. Then again, maybe not. I said this before. I was like, the men that want to play Hoochie Hoochie Daddy short song, no thank you, never mind, because some things just should not be seen. So y'all know I'm a comic. I love to laugh. I live to laugh. I live to love. And y'all also know I love to eat. Those who know me, I love to eat. So hope to see you. Watch my social media platforms. Don't forget to go on my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Add me on to your social media page if I'm not there. Send your girl a shout out. I would love, love, love to talk to you. And don't become someone's emotional bomb. And don't you become somebody's emotional sponge. Okay? Life is already lifing. It just needs you to be here for the person that you need to encourage when you encounter that person. It is your girl, Morticia Sherman, the unapologetic therapist. Don't forget, 2025 is the year of beyond human comprehension blessings, blessings upon blessings to you all. I'm experiencing it. Like I said, this past Saturday, I got honored, was not expecting it. Thank you, Empower Her 2025. Empower Her Hope for Hope 2025. I am just so excited for this 2025 year. Again, be on the lookout. Share with everybody, let them know that I'm on here on Wednesdays. Also, I'm going to do before you all go, and thank you all who have joined, I'm also thinking about doing 30-minute sessions for lunch. Let me know if you're okay with that. Send me a shout out. Let me know if you're okay for 30-minute lunch sessions, either to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, where we can have 30-minute conversation. We can do meditation. Also, my grief counseling classes will start up in April. I have a new location. Yay! I have a new location, and we're going to be doing grief counseling sessions, different forms of grief counseling sessions starting April. Be on the lookout for the new address. Again, this is my phone number. You can text me, send your girl some encouraging words every now and then, lock my number in. Look forward to talking to y'all soon. Have a great Wednesday. It's March 19th. Happy birthday to my baby brother and one of my besties, Christy. That's my lawyer friend, my lawyer sister. She's an attorney, a powerful attorney. She's amazing. Those two, March 19th. Today is their birthday. See y'all next week on the last Wednesday in March, I think it is. Yes, it will be the last Wednesday in March. Let's go out with a bang for March and get ready for April. I love you all to life, and there's nothing you can do about it.